Something happened around Caitlin Clark that sounds almost too perfect for the internet to ignore. Michael Jordan's brand is now putting Clark's name alongside some of the biggest stars in the WNBA, and the timing could not be more interesting. But there is an important distinction. There is no confirmed report that Michael Jordan personally chose Caitlin Clark over the rest of the league. What is confirmed is that Jordan Brand is featuring Clark prominently in its 2026 WNBA All-Star merchandise. While another major development has made people question whether the basketball world has underestimated just how valuable Clark has become. And the person making that argument is someone with a direct connection to the Michael Jordan era. Because this story isn't really about one jersey. It is about what happens when Caitlin Clark's commercial power collides with the business model that once turned Michael Jordan into the most recognizable athlete on the planet. And that is where things get interesting. For years, Caitlin Clark has been surrounded by comparisons to the biggest names basketball has ever produced. Some of those comparisons have been about her hooting range. Others have been about her ability to attract an audience. But in June 2026, the conversation moved into a completely different category, when Nike finally revealed the first look at Clark's own signature sneaker. The shoe is called the Caitlin 1, and Nike announced that it is scheduled to launch October 1st. On its own, that should have been an enormous moment. A young WNBA superstar getting her own signature shoe is one of the clearest signs that a player has moved beyond simply being a successful athlete. It means the company believes her name can stand on a product by itself. But instead of everyone celebrating the decision, a very different conversation started. Why did it take so long? Clark originally signed with Nike in 2022 before she even entered the WNBA. She then became the No. 1 overall pick in 2024, won Rookie of the Year, became one of the league's biggest attractions, and helped push women's basketball into a new level of mainstream attention. Yet, her signature shoe did not arrive immediately, and that delay caught the attention of Wnba, the legendary sports marketing executive who played a major role in bringing Michael Jordan to Nike in the 1980s. Vaccaro did not describe Nike's handling of Clark as a minor mistake. He called it one of the biggest failures he had ever seen. And then he made the comparison that instantly changed the conversation. According to reports on his comments to ESPN's Dan Wetzel, Vaccaro argued that Clark was bigger than Jordan in some ways when she entered the professional game because she was already a known commodity and had captured public attention before reaching the WNBA. Think about what that actually means. This isn't some random social media account comparing two athletes. This is the man associated with one of the most important athlete marketing deals in sports history, looking at Caitlin Clark and essentially saying the opportunity was enormous. But there was another reason his comments mattered. Vaccaro wasn't simply talking about Clark's ability to score points. He was talking about the phenomenon surrounding her. And that phenomenon had already become impossible to ignore. Clark entered the WNBA carrying an audience that had followed her from Iowa. She became one of the most recognizable players in women's basketball almost immediately. Her games attracted enormous attention, and the debate around her became larger than basketball itself. That creates a strange problem for a company like Nike. If you have a player who already has an enormous audience before you release her signature product, the obvious question becomes, why wait? That is exactly what made the Caitlin 1 announcement so fascinating. Nike finally revealed the shoe on June 17, 2026 with the October 1st release date. And suddenly the conversation wasn't about whether Caitlin Clark could sell a signature shoe. It was about whether Nike waited too long to capitalize on her momentum. But here's where Michael Jordan enters the story. Because Jordan Brand is not simply some unrelated basketball label. It is the commercial legacy built around the athlete whose partnership with Nike changed sports marketing forever. And now in 2026, Caitlin Clark is appearing in that same Jordan Brand ecosystem. Nike's official WNBA merchandise currently lists a Caitlin Clark 2026 WNBA All-Star Jordan jersey alongside Jordan-branded jerseys for players including A.A. Wilson, Paige Buickers, Breanna Stewart, Kelsey Mitchell, and others. That detail is important because it changes the original headline. Michael Jordan has not publicly announced that he personally selected Caitlin Clark over every WNBA player, but Jordan Brand is clearly comfortable putting Clark's name on the same premium basketball merchandise platform as several of the league's biggest stars. And that creates a much more interesting question. Why is Caitlin Clark becoming such a central figure in the basketball business, even while people continue debating her place among the league's elite players? Because popularity and basketball performance are not exactly the same thing. That's the part of the Caitlin Clark story that has made the WNBA conversation so complicated. You can debate her statistics. You can debate her efficiency. You can debate her defense. You can debate where she ranks against A.A. Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, Breanna Stewart, Angel Reese, Paige Buickers, or anyone else. But the commercial question is different, and that question has already been answered. Brands clearly see value in her name. The upcoming Caitlin 1 is proof of that. And the Jordan-branded WNBA merchandise is another piece of the puzzle. But then came an even bigger twist. Clark isn't the only current WNBA star with a signature shoe. Reports say the Caitlin 1 will make Clark the fifth current WNBA player with a signature shoe, joining A.A. Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, Breanna Stewart, and Angel Reese. That last name matters. Angel Reese. Because if there is one rivalry that has defined the modern generation of women's basketball, it is the Caitlin Clark-Angel Reese storyline. Their college rivalry helped create a national conversation that continued into the WNBA. And now both players have reached a commercial milestone that only a small group of WNBA stars have achieved. That doesn't mean one has replaced the other. It means something much bigger is happening. The league is developing multiple commercial stars at the same time. And that is precisely why the Caitlin versus everyone narrative can be misleading. The WNBA doesn't need only one superstar. It needs several. Caitlin Clark can bring one audience. Angel Reese can bring another. A.A. Wilson represents another type of basketball dominant. Sabrina Ionescu has her own established commercial identity.
Paige
Buickers has quickly become another major name. And Jordan Brand itself is showing that its WNBA strategy isn't limited to one player. Its 2026 All-Star merchandise includes several of the league's biggest names. So, why did the original Michael Jordan chose Caitlin Clark idea explode so easily? Because there is a powerful story underneath it. Jordan represents the ultimate example of an athlete becoming bigger than the sport. Clark is now being evaluated through that same commercial lens.
Not
because she has accomplished what Jordan accomplished, she hasn't. And pretending otherwise would actually weaken the story. The fascinating part is that people inside the sports business world are asking whether Clark's market potential was recognized quickly enough. Vaccaro's criticism makes that question impossible to dismiss. Nike's decision to finally release the Caitlin 1 gives us the answer to one question.
the
Company clearly believes Clark is valuable enough to have her own signature line. But another question remains. What happens if the Caitlin 1 becomes a massive commercial success? Because then the criticism about the delay becomes much louder. Imagine the scenario. The shoe launches, fans rush to buy it. The product becomes one of the biggest basketball releases associated with a WNBA player. Suddenly, the conversation isn't should Nike have waited. It's how much bigger could this have been if Nike had moved earlier. That is the gamble Nike has now taken. And it is a very different gamble from the one companies faced decades ago. Michael Jordan entered the NBA before social media, before viral clips could reach millions overnight, before athletes could directly communicate with fans through their own accounts. Clark entered professional basketball in an entirely different media environment. Her audience could follow every game, every highlight, every interview, and every controversy almost instantly.
That
means the commercial window around a player can move incredibly fast. And Clark has already shown that her story can generate attention far beyond a traditional basketball audience. Even now, the debate surrounding her continues to dominate conversations about the WNBA. That attention can be frustrating. Clark herself has spoken about the difficulty of being constantly scrutinized and having people project narratives onto her that she didn't
Create.
Recent coverage has also highlighted how the conversation around her has expanded far beyond basketball. But commercially, there is an undeniable advantage. People are watching, people are talking, and companies want to know whether that attention can translate into products. The Caitlyn one is the biggest test yet, and this is why the Michael Jordan angle matters. Jordan isn't just a retired basketball player. His name represents perhaps the most successful example of athlete branding in basketball history. So, when Caitlyn Clark starts appearing inside the Jordan brand's Wnba product ecosystem, people naturally make the connection. But the smartest takeaway isn't that Jordan has picked Clark over Angel Reese, A.A. Wilson, Paige Buers, or anyone else. The smarter takeaway is that the business of women's basketball is entering a new phase where multiple players can command serious individual commercial attention, and Clark is unquestionably one of the biggest pieces of that transformation. The irony is that the strongest evidence isn't a rumor about Michael Jordan. It isn't a secret meeting. It isn't an alleged endorsement. It's sitting right there on the product pages. Caitlyn Clark has a Jordan-branded 2026 All-Star jersey. She has an upcoming signature
Shoe.
and the executive who helped put Michael Jordan on the Nike map has publicly argued that Nike badly mishandled the opportunity surrounding
Clark.
That's the real story. Not that Michael Jordan secretly chose Caitlyn Clark over everybody, but that Clark has reached a point where her name is being discussed through the same commercial framework that once helped create the Jordan phenomenon. And now the clock is running. October 1st is the date, attached to the Caitlyn 1 release. If that shoe succeeds, the debate over whether Nike waited too long won't disappear. It will become even louder, because then the question won't be whether Caitlyn Clark was marketable. It will be how much bigger the opportunity could have been if everyone had recognized it sooner. And perhaps that's the most interesting part of this entire WNBA story. Michael Jordan doesn't have to publicly crown Caitlyn Clark for the comparison to matter. The market is already having that conversation. Now Caitlyn has to show what happens when one of the biggest audiences in women's basketball finally gets a signature product of its own. The real question is no longer whether Caitlyn Clark can become a commercial superstar. It's whether the Caitlyn 1 can turn that attention into the kind of lasting basketball brand that Michael Jordan built decades ago.